Paul Ryan here at the PH Miracle Center, and I'm sitting with Mark Lichty, a former CEO of a company called Buston, and he's an attorney. And at one point in December of 2005, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and he's had a lot of interesting aspects to his journey. At a certain point, he chose active surveillance. We're going to find out exactly what this is and chat with Mark. Mark, thanks so much for visiting with us
You're welcome.
today.
Pleasure to be here.
Fellow Pennsylvanian.
Yes,
Yes.
Philadelphia, indeed.
Indeed, yes. So it's interesting, your background, before we get into how you got to the PH Miracle Ranch. Your father died of prostate cancer, and you saw him suffer. And so it must have been sort of a shocker to be diagnosed in December of 2005. But you chose a different journey. Was that because of what your father went through?
My father, Paul, was my inspiration. I saw him carved, I saw him radiated, and I saw the quality of his life destroyed in his final 6 or 8 months. And I said to myself, I'm not going to go that route. After I was diagnosed with a Gleason 6 after a biopsy. That's the standard way that that's determined. And he inspired me to look for other alternatives. Now, at that time, there was no such thing as active surveillance. I mean, I didn't.
Can you define active surveillance?
Yes, active surveillance is a minimum of intervention, a maximum of surveillance. I'm on my way to a conference in LA, sponsored by the Prostate Cancer Research Institute, and they're really on the leading edge of prostate cancer treatment. There's a fellow there by the name of Dr. Schultz, who founded the organization. He wrote a book called The Invasion of the Prostate Snatchers, which is all about the epidemic of overtreatment. So I'll be chairing some breakout sessions on active surveillance. And for men that have been diagnosed with prostate cancer and are looking for some alternatives, the Prostate Cancer Research Institute is a very fine organization and trying to progress this prostate cancer issue beyond the boundaries that we now have. There's an epidemic of overtreatment of prostate cancer. In fact, that's why in part why I have agreed to this interview, because the problem is it's not just that you have the surgery and you're done with the thing. Almost 50% of the people that have some kind of intervention have erectile dysfunction, a period of incontinence, or other side effects. So, from the radiation and the chemo, or from the actual? Well, normally it's not chemo. It's either radiation, what's called brachytherapy, or prostatectomy, or there's also a cryotherapy approach. Those 3 approaches are basically the approaches, but they all have their side effects to them. Cryotherapy is not crying, it's something else. No, cryotherapy is freezing. Actually, you freeze the prostate. Wow. Now with your dad, I believe that a lot of from whatever he was receiving, a lot of fluid locked into his leg? That's correct. Yes, it did. When he was radiated, it destroyed the lymph glands, and then the fluid would just go down. And that was from radiation? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. And was there some castration process in there? And there was, and he also had what's called an orchiectomy, or castration, which was done at the time. Wow. That was in 1996. Yeah. So all of those things. I mean, you can imagine my watching my poor dad go through all that stuff. And he got this when he was 70, around that period of time? Yeah, around 70, and he died when he was 76. What do you do when you have pressure from your doctor who's saying, we got to get you into this, we got to get you in chemo, we got to give you the pill, we got to get you... What do you do? Well, you take a deep breath, you slow down, and you get in touch with your own intuition. You got to get in touch with yourself. You can't hand it all over to the medical profession. That's the biggest mistake that I see people making. I had 3 doctors recommend a radical prostatectomy to me. And right after you were diagnosed? Right after I was diagnosed, because that was the protocol. I was diagnosed at a Gleason 6. There's 7, 8, 9. Then it goes up with.
That's a certain test.
Yeah, it's a biopsy, and then they have a methodology of measuring the severity of the cancer. So mine was a Gleason 6, but Dr. Young has treated people here with Gleason 8, 9, and very serious cases, and been able to turn them around. The doctors still are not speaking. The first thing they should be talking to when you're diagnosed with prostate cancer, the first thing they should be talking to you about is diet change. Now, most of them, people like Dean Ornish and folks like that, they're doing some good things, but they're not pushing it to the alkalizing level, which is where it needs to be, I believe. But the problem is, generally, doctors aren't talking to you about diet at all. They're just they're talking to you about intervention. They don't speak about the root cause. They don't speak about the fundamental issue. We are, as Hippocrates said, food is our medicine, and medicine is our food.
I'd like to know how you connected with Dr. Young, became aware of the pH Miracle Center, and what provoked you to move into this arena.
Yeah, well, how it was serendipity again. I just ran into somebody who had lost their father to prostate cancer, actually, and this person recommended the pH Miracle Living book to me, and I picked it up right away. I picked it up along with Colin Campbell's book as well. Colin Campbell has done some good work. I tell you what really pulled me in, and that was the work of Otto Warburg, which Dr. Young bases a lot of his thought process on. And Dr. Warburg in 1931 won a Nobel Prize for his work. That basically, this is a terrible oversimplification, but let's just go with it anyway. Basically, found that cancer only grows in an anaerobic environment. Once you introduce oxygen, once you alkalize, cancer won't grow. And I said, here's a Nobel laureate who discovered this, and it hasn't been refuted in all these years. So once I was able to grab a hold of the root cause, which I hadn't been from the medical profession.
Which was?
The root cause has to do with acidity within the body.
Fascinating that he won a Nobel Prize, was never refuted, and yet it kind of got swept under the carpet.
There's still no traction. It baffles me. It baffles me to this day.
So we're kind of repeating history and reawakening the information.
Hopefully.
So where are you at now, and what has the pH Miracle program done for you? Well,
the last time I had an MRSI, that's a magnetic resonance imaging spectroscopic approach. I'm in a study up at the University of California, San Francisco. And so there's an MRSI approach they do, and there was no detectable cancer.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I still, worry a little. I think we always have to be vigilant about these things. And one thing I didn't say, Paul, that I do want to say about cancer, about any illness, it's the way our body is trying to speak to us. What voice does our body have to speak to us? But, it's saying something through cancer. It's saying, wake up, Mark. If I have another illness, it's saying, wake up to do something fundamental, not wake up to get the cancer cut out, not wake up to get radiation. It's saying, Mark, there's some issue in your life, and you got to do something about it. And it's a gift. The prostate cancer is a gift because it's the body's vehicle to speak to you.
Can you share what the root cause was for you? What did you discover, mentally, physically, emotionally, or spiritually?
Well,
because that can be helpful to people.
Yeah, I did a whole bunch of different things in terms of trying to understand that, prayer, spiritual things. I went to a shaman. I did a raft of different things. The only thing that I did consistently was a living food approach. So if you ask what the root cause was, I still think the root cause had to be my diet.
Too much acidity, yeah.
My diet, too much acidity. I ate meat, I ate things that I shouldn't eat. And I'm not perfect. if
the report was you were perfect, Mark.
Well, yeah, believe me, I'm not. I'm probably, if Dr. Young gave me a a grade on where I am, he'd probably give me maybe a C plus. Maybe, but even with that level of compliance, I've been able to deal with the prostate cancer.
So since coming to the pH Miracle Center, how has it taken you to the next level?
Well, there's so much information here. One of the things that Dr. Young recommends is colonics. I have been mixed.
And because what happens is, in our society, people hear the word colonics and they go, woo woo.
Yeah.
But explain what that is, that it's not woo woo, it's basic cleaning out the gut.
Yeah. Well, it's not woo woo, but just so you know, in terms, I'm not, with regard to Dr. Young, I'm not just I question everything. And so I don't even know right now.
You're a root cause kind of guy.
I'm a root cause kind of guy.
Yeah.
What he says about colonics makes sense to me. I had a colonic while I was here, and I thought it was useful. I don't know whether I'm going to have other colonics. So, I take his work. And
You're saying colonic and not pina colada. I just want to make sure that
that's right. Colonic, yeah.
Yes.
Pina colonic.
Exactly. There you go. Yes.
The other thing that, frankly, I haven't been doing is the ionizing water. I have an alkalizing tank at home that gets my water to 7.2. I don't have an ionizing filter. He has an ionizing filter that takes the water up to 9.5, and also ionizes the water. That would be something that I see if I need to do that to take that to the next level.
So, the more you can integrate into your everyday life, the 4 to 6 liters of water, the colonics, the massage, the exercise, it's a program. And it may seem a little overwhelming to people at different, for myself, speaking for myself, it's taken time for me to go, okay, now this is a new habit. This is a new habit. They say it takes 21 days to bring in a new habit.
I mean, it's really not that overwhelming to make the shift. Once you have something like a cancer, you're going to make a shift.
Yes, because it's your life.
It's your life.
It's interesting because early on when I was told I had a health challenge, I showed one doctor the pH Miracle book, and he scowled like somebody who hadn't gotten out of puberty. And it was almost shocking, the giveaway. And so it is kind of wild that people who are involved in health don't look healthy. I mean, that's their profession. They don't look healthy, and they don't act in a healthy fashion. So,
they're closed down.
Closed down.
They're closed
and so
down,
what you're saying about going with your instinct, and Dr. Young talks about we need more education and not medication. That's huge.
It is huge.
I want to share that again. We don't need medication, we need education. And so we got to be smart. This is a journey that we're on. Well, as our cameraman said before, you have a great voice.
Well, thank
So
you.
with your information and inspiration, you will transform those people who are there at this convention. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
Yes, this is two Pennsylvanians talking about real, substantial information for you. We're here at the pH Miracle Center. I'm Paul Ryan. Thanks for watching.